Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Morning Motivational Rant. I am your host, Dina the Genetic Marvel, and with me, as always, is Crystal Morency, my co-host. Good morning, Crystal. How are you today?
How come I'm not lovely and fantastic and wonderful and all these other super annoying things that you like to say?
I'm saving it for later. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. So, Dino, I am doing super wonderful. How are you, my Lord Dino, the most wonderful man in the whole entire world? Every woman wants to be with him. Every man wants to be him.
You gotta stop saying that. My wife is already angry. She's like, listen, you are not that fancy. And I'm like, I'm very fancy. I am the fanciest man in this house.
I get it. I'll stop doing it because that's super annoying, and I get it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Bart Simpson. I'm like, SMRT, I am so smart. And it's just,
SMRT.
Yeah.
That was Homer, wasn't it?
No, that's Bart.
Was it?
I'm not that bald, okay? Come on, Crystal.
Say perhaps. What does that shirt say?
Oh, it says, say perhaps to drugs. Say perhaps. You never know.
Say perhaps not.
You know what?
Don't do drugs.
Do this.
Drugs
Somebody gives you something, only take half. That's pretty reasonable. That's good advice. That is good advice from Bert Kreischer. Only take half. You know?
Yeah, because he takes half.
Hasn't taken half of anything in his whole life, that fat fuck. Okay? I've actually started adding the hashtag, at least I'm not as fat as Bert Kreischer, just onto our videos, because why not? I'm trying to get us out there, so...
Don't use him to get us out there. We don't need him.
No, I will use what?
He uses us.
I will use everyone
to get out there. Oh, I've hashtagged him and stuff, or added him.
Yeah.
But that's only on things that I'm like, yeah, that's right. I'm saying it out loud.
Yeah, dick. You know what? It's.
Do you think he'd be smart enough to do this, the block?
Huh?
If somebody were to be like, boop, do you think he'd be smart enough to do the block instantly, like cat-like reflexes?
No, not at all. Not even
I don't
remotely.
know. I don't know. As much as I think that he's got these weird capabilities because he's a frat boy, and frat boys have weird capabilities like that.
Yeah, but that's like
I might be able to pull him.
Frat boys from like the 30s knew that, right? He's a frat boy from the 90s, which you're like, yeah, the frat guys from the 90s, they knew how to drug people and do inappropriate things with them. That's what they knew. So that's kind of...
And get peed on.
And get peed on. They definitely enjoyed getting peed on. Hey, you know what? Some people just like that. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's...
so how are you, Dino?
I'm good. I've just been... I had... I don't know. The other day I was feeling kind of... So I just kind of stuck to myself and everything, and just kind of curl up in a ball and watch horrible, horrible documentaries that make my mind cringe and say, see, life isn't that bad. That helps me. Because I watch some stuff and like... Oh, and by the way, yeah, so I was thinking about what you sent me where you're like, this is how I'm learning economics. I'm like, that's a bad way to start economics.
No, I've been so deep learning and stuff. I'm trying to get myself into that.
Yeah.
So I'm even setting categories aside so that way I'm learning about history, I'm learning about economics, I'm learning about this, I'm learning about but categorized.
Yeah.
So that way it's not all spun together.
Oh no, that's great.
And then I'm trying to do different time periods so that way I know going back to what time periods. But I keep making I'm such a YouTube fucking nerd because I don't talk to anybody in real life. So I'm like, I don't even flirt with it. I flirt with people on YouTube. And I'm like, ooh, you're awfully smart. And then I get in these debates, and they're not debates. But I really want people to be positive and just smile.
And
Well,
and this was what I was thinking was I don't know which was your first video. You said this is how I'm starting economics. And I was like, that's a bad start. But
it was one on Wall Street, on the stock markets.
And that's it's accurate. Don't get me wrong. It's more so that
it was a Netflix special, but it was on YouTube.
So what I've found whenever I'm trying to learn something is I'll find the driest material because it's more just fact instead of an opinion kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
I've been researching.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say.
I've been researching the mathematical stuff on AIs as well, like the mathematical portions on AIs. But I really have to go back and look at like all my pi, and like I have to learn all that stuff over again because I'm like,
you know what?
I'm looking at some of it. I'm like,
you don't necessarily have to.
I don't know what that means.
But if you know what pi is helpful. Like knowing what the quadratic function and what its purpose is. Like you don't necessarily have to know the math to understand how their stuff. But this is the thing is that.
But I'm just trying to have like an open mind to
absolutely.
everything.
Oh no, which is great.
I think that we repeat history, and that's our problem. Mm-hmm. So I think that like we look up to all these great ones. Well, those great ones were great because they did something themselves and created something themselves.
And a lot of times,
I think it's kind of insulting.
Yeah, well,
no, something wonderful, but I think it's insulting for us to try to do what they did, but do it better. Yeah. Why don't we create another way, you know?
Well, a lot of
like, how much do you respect somebody if you're like, yeah, that was good, but I can do it way better. Watch.
So, and this is the thing, is one of the things that are really important is learning the basics of any subject, I've found, in a bland way, in the sense that where it's just factual information, because when you watch like that Netflix thing is accurate.
I've been mentioning to saying that I've been on the mathematical thing that I was looking up. It's the GAN. It's for like AI. But anyways, that it was a paper, like a guy's thesis, like
which is perfect,
like a theory. So it was just I downloaded his paper. Yeah. So it was nobody talking. I had to read
which
it.
Is great.
And you know what I mean?
And that's why it's because economics is a great subject. But it's been perverted so bad in the last, say, 50 years.
Oh, and I watched like 100 videos on one shot. So, and I'll take it from every different source. I don't just take it from one source and be like, that's the way it is. No. Like, as soon as somebody says, like, that one thing you sent me, the only thing you need to know about all you need to know about the economy. No. This is all you need to know. As soon as somebody says this is all you need to know about one subject, I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
This is all we want you to know.
There you go.
About this subject.
As soon as, and you know what, it goes down to the same, like some principles are so transferable. Because, and someone says, well, this is all you need to know. That's definitely not all you need to know. They are either trying to fuck with you, or they're trying to keep you uninformed. So, while their information...
It's about what you need to know about your adventure, too.
Oh, that's also true. The whole thing is, and this is why, is if you have a basic understanding of a certain subject, such as economics or marketing, those basic functions... are still the core fundamentals that were created. We're talking about hundreds of years, like 120 years ago, 150 years ago-ish, right? So what happened is over time, those principles, those base core principles of what marketing or economics, how they're supposed to function, are still valid and true. It's then you have to see how they've been perverted throughout time. Like